Hi, today on our letter of the week, I'm going to be showing you 18 signs for words that start with the letter L.
Play, play, play along. Come on and play along. Play, play, play along. Come on and play along.
So our letter today is the letter L. And notice how when you make this letter L with a sign for that, it looks just like the letter L. Now, L is a single sound consonant, so that means it makes a sound of ul. Ul. Can you do that? Ul. So every time you see the letter L in a word, well, most of the time, you're going to make that sound of ul. Now, wait, sometimes when we do a sign, the letter that we use, it's an initialized word. So the sign for the word of letter, you make that L and you're going to tap your index finger twice. So this is the letter L. But there's another kind of letter too, one that you might write to somebody, and that's when you take a stamp and you put it on the envelope. So the sign for this kind of letter that you mail is you take your thumb to your mouth like you're going to lick that stamp and put it on the envelope. Okay, so this is the letter L. This is the letter of the A, B, C, D, E, F, G kind. And this is the letter that you might mail to somebody to say, hi there. L is also used in the sign for the word later. Later. Like I'm going to, or later on I'm going to eat lunch. Okay? L is also used in the sign for library. So you make the L and you circle it around. This is a sign for library. I love to go to the library and check out a book. The sign for let, as in it means like allow, you're going to take your hands together and you're going to scoop them up like this, sort of like a passage, or you're going to let somebody help you, or would you like to let me go to the store for you? All right. But then we have phrases in ASL. So for let's go, so let's go to the park and play. Let's go to the pool and swim. Let's go. For look, you can take your fingers like this toward your eyes, and you're going to look out. Like I'm looking at you. I'm looking at myself. I'm looking all around. I'm looking up. I'm looking down. So it's like imagine two eyes looking out at you. Okay? For listen, you just cup your hand behind your ear. Oh, listen to the birds sing. Oh, listen to that song. Tell me what you want, I will listen to you. The word like has a couple different meanings. Like as in similar, you're going to make a Y hand. We haven't done the letter Y yet, but this is a Y. And you kind of shake it back and forth. Like. This means as in similar. Green apples and yellow apples are like each other. You know, they're both apples. So that would be they're similar, or as in like. But the other kind of like is if you're fond of something, you're going to take your thumb and your middle finger of your hand and you're going to come off your chest. So it's going to look like this, straight off your chest like this. And they're going to come together. Like, I like pizza. I like my dog. Actually, I love my dog. Okay, and so this would be like, this is love. You're just gonna give yourself a big hug. You just have all this feeling for it. Like my dog is so sweet. I just love her. For little, the word little, you're gonna bring your hands together. If it were big, it would be out here, but it's little. Little. Lamb. So Mary had a little lamb. Okay, for lamb, you put one arm out, and the other hand is going to look like scissors, like you're snipping off the wool or shearing the wool off of the lamb. So this is a sign for lamb. And the sign for lion, and what's special about lions is they have that big mane, right? So this is a sign for lion. Lion. I love to go to the zoo and see the lion roar. For live, you're going to take two hands, fists coming up your chest, so that you're full of life. Okay, so life and live are right here, so you're just full of life. The word for lunch. Now, this is a two-part sign. Remember when we did the letter E? This is a sign for eat. Well, if you eat at noon, this would be the sign for noon, that becomes the sign for lunch. So you're going to, for lunch, it's eat plus noon. For lost, okay, you take your hands here, you know, and you're just going to like drop something. Like there's you have these two like flattened O hands, and you just like, whew, there it goes. Ooh, I lost my car keys. Hate when that happens. I lost my place in where I was reading. Lost. And our last sign that we're going to do today is you're going to make two L's, an L with each hand, and come up to your mouth. And this is a sign for laugh. Laugh. So we're going to, I love to watch a funny movie. I like to laugh a lot. Okay, this would be the sign for laugh. Okay, now I'm going to take all these signs and put them together in a story. So you might want to review, and you'll get the picture clue. But go back and maybe look at some of these signs again, and see, you'll be all ready to recognize what these signs are. Okay, it's story time. Once upon a time, Mary had a, and Larry had a. Now, it might be hard to believe, but not only did this and each other, they, each other, they, to play games, tag and hide and go seek. They would to each other's problems, and they would at each other's jokes. But there was one thing they would never do, and that would be to eat together. Because as we know, to eat, animals like. Well, one day said, hey, have together today. Well, said, oh, that is not a good idea. Instead, to the post office, because I have to mail a, then go to the, you see, a book that I was reading, and I would like to find one, the one that I, oh, sure, I can do that. Me help you find your book at the, I will for it. Then maybe we can go and eat. No way, said, to our own homes and eat. Then meet back here and play a game of tag. Woohoo, said. And they happily ever after. So did you recognize the signs? Well, I'm going to tell basically the same story again, so let's see how you do. Okay. Once upon a time, Mary had a, and Larry had a. Now, it might be hard to believe, but not only did this and each other, they, each other, they, to play games, tag and hide and go seek. They would to each other's problems, and they would at each other's jokes. But there was one thing they would not do together, and that would be to eat. Because as we know, to eat animals. Well, one day said, hey, have together today. Well, said, oh, that is not a good idea. I you too much to do that. Instead, to the post office, because I have to mail then to the, you see, a book that I was reading, and I want to find it. Okay, said, me help you for your book. Then maybe we can eat. Well, said, no, instead, to our own homes and eat. Then meet back here and play a game of tag. Woohoo, said. And they happily ever after. Okay, so now that was the letter L. Next week we're going to be doing the letter M. So be sure you subscribe and do share us with your friends and use these words throughout the day. Okay? See you next week.
Play, play, play along. Come on and play along.